Okay, let me talk about my first business now in Sydney. Um, I had been making cakes for a little while for friends and people, kind of around the place. At the time, I was living in Tamarama Beach in a big complex, and from there, I was making my cakes. Werner was living in the same building at the time, and so we thought, well, we might as well start a little business. So we got a little hole in the wall, tiny little place. You just basically you could just walk in, then we put a counter in there, and that was it. So I would kind of in the morning take my cakes over there, and Werner's girlfriend, she would be in the shop looking after it. And so that was kind of our first business. I made the cakes because I was working mainly in the afternoon and evening at the opera house. So I kind of took my cakes there in the morning, and when I was ready, and then we bought some other cakes from other cake shops, and we just sold them there. It was just a small little business, nothing fancy, nothing happening. And Helga was Werner's girlfriend, and she looked after the shop. Um, and that went quite okay for a while. I don't know if we made any money or not, but one evening, Werner was driving past, coming from work, and he looked, and it was kind of dimly lit, uh, but pretty dark. So he thought, well, he's going to have a look. So he went in and had a look, and what he saw was everything inside the shop was totally black, and he couldn't believe what's happening. So we went to find out. I wasn't there. He did all of that, and come to find out that we had a little fan, a tiny one of those tiny little fans standing on top of the counter, and that exploded. Now the good thing was that the reason why it was running so much was because Helga went home. Somebody was outside the shop in the afternoon. She was talking to the person, closed the door behind her, and left the keys inside. So she had no way of getting in until Werner came home. So she just went home. There wasn't enough business to worry about it. And So in the meantime, that little fan exploded. Fortunately enough, there was nobody in the place. It would have been a disaster if Helga or some customer or some would have been in there and would have exploded. It would have been terrible. So we were very lucky. But the place was a mess, all black. So there was a little box of chewing gums, 3 layers deep, and the black went right to the bottom of the place of the box. It was terrible. So what we had no choice. We cleaned it all up, repainted the store, and then we thought, well, maybe it's not a good thing to have this store. Let's skip that for the time being. We had enough work at the opera house, so we didn't really need it. So we decided to sell it. And to cut a long story short, it was a question people would come, how is the business, what is it doing? So I said, well, just stand outside the shop and have a look. Because at those days, you didn't keep books or anything like that. We just kind of winged it. It was all cash business. There was no. It was just a small little bit. If we got about $50 a day, we would have been extremely lucky. Um, and most of the cakes which we bought in other shops, we ate ourselves. So we took them to the opera house and gave them to our friends or something like that. So eventually somebody came, and I can't remember, was it $250 or $500 they paid for the shop? It was nothing. But so somebody else took it over, and so we were free of the shop. And I kept making cakes for other businesses, for other restaurants and stuff like that, and that was kind of it. So that was our Werner and my first business in Sydney. So we went from there. Okay, that was it was fun.